Good evening, traders and developers. Welcome to another edition of AlgoTrading Live. I'm Stanton. Tonight we've got a very cool video. We're going to be building a MT4 EA using a Fibonacci strategy. Now, I know in the videos I say that it is for BYBIT, but you could use these strategies on any MT4 supported exchange, and you could use it on any products, Forex, indices, whatever you want. The thing is that I've just set up some of the input parameters to mimic the way you enter a trade on the BYBIT website. But like I said, you could use this on any exchange that you want, and it will work just perfectly fine. Plus, the starter template and all the source code is available for download on my website. And if you are new to these BYBIT series, you could see in the description below how to register on BYBIT and how to create an MT4 account on BYBIT. Alright, so let's get started. As usual, we're going to start with our starter template. So I'm just going to copy starter template. I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to try to go through this as quickly as possible. And we're going to call this BYBIT Fibo. Okay, so we go next, finished. We're going to copy our starter template code into that. And we're just going to delete this top section. No, we're not going to delete the top section. We're going to delete this section. Alright, so our template is set up now. So we've got our starter template set up. Now let's go start coding. Alright, so before I actually start coding, I was playing a little bit around earlier with drawing Fibonacci lines. So I'm actually going to test that first to see if that actually works. I'm going to add that into our BYBIT, into our EA. So we've got this function here called draw Fibonacci lines. And I'm going to just take the code. Control C. I'm going to close that now. And let's paste this function at the bottom here. And also, once this is finished, if you guys don't want to follow along, you just want to watch, all these algos will be available for download at my website. The link's also down in the description. Okay, so we've got the draw Fibonacci lines, and then I just want to have one input parameter for Fibonacci. Where's the Fibonacci inputs? I'm just going to copy it from my multifarious EA, which is a, say, MT4 EA, which has about 6 different indicators. It is a very cool EA, also available on my website. Just going to take all of these, and then let's just stick this over here. So this is group 1. I'm going to call this group 6. Okay. I'm not going to have a trading range. We're going to just hard code those trading periods in there. We're not going to have a time frame. We're always going to run it on the time frame of the chart, and we're always going to use it. So basically I've only got one input parameter. Okay, so I'm going to just set this to 100. I just want to test this, and then I want to change the, because I hard coded it to 100, I want to change this. I'll explain it to you once I've just set it up. Let me just set this up quickly. This candle, is there anything else that's referencing 100? No. Okay, so let me explain this draw Fibonacci line to you. So basically we want to find the highest candle and the lowest candle in our Fibonacci range. So that will be however many bars you set it to. So for the period, so let's say if we're on the hour and we want to set our Fibonacci range, we want to find the highest and the lowest. So let's just say 100 bars or 200 bars or 50 bars, whatever it is. And that's the period that will draw the Fibonacci lines for. Okay, then we've got this object delete function, which basically deletes the lines. So basically it's redrawing. Every time a new candle opens, it redraws the Fibonacci lines. And then you've got this object create. So we want to do it on the current chart. We're going to call it the Fibonacci. And then inside MT4, you've got different objects, and there actually is an object Fibonacci. So we could just use it as that. Then you've got, what is this? The 0 is, oh, which window? So either you have it on the main window, or you could have it on like a sort of like oscillator window underneath the chart. Then you've got your first period, which is 0, the time 0. You've got your highest candle that you put in. Then your count is for 100 bars, and then you put your lower candle. So essentially it draws your Fibo retracement levels from the highest to the lowest. And then we're just going to like write out some values just to see that it is working. So you've got your level 100, level 0, and level 50. And then you're just getting the value from the actual line itself. I'm not going to go into too much details about that, but let's compile this, see if everything works. Okay, good. So it all works. Let's go to our terminal. Let's just see if my mic is hello testing. Yeah, sorry. All right. And we're going to open up our BYBIT Fibo. Going to put it on the Bitcoin chart. We're going to do 1 hour. Put it into visual mode. We're not going to optimize. Let's just change the properties of the inputs. Oh, we've already set it to 100. So that's fine. And let's run it and let's test if our Fibo lines are drawing. There we go. Drawing our Fibo lines. You can see it redraws it for every 100 candles. If you slow it down, and let's just pause here quickly. So it says the highest level, the 100 level, is at, let's just get my pointer, is at 42160. That's 42168, correct. And the lowest level is at 38471 something. Yep. And then we're going to go to our 50 level just to make sure. That is at 4250. Cool. So it's working. So the Fibo lines is working. So we could stop our tester. And let's carry on with the developer. So we can actually keep that in there. So we'll just draw the lines. That's pretty cool. So we can actually see where the Fibo levels are. Okay, I just want to take out this. So we've only got one input for Fibo, which is the amount of bars we want to check. Okay, now what we need is some sort of excuse me, trend indicator. So what we're going to do, we are going to use moving averages, and I'm going to use a cross. So basically we'll use a cross to a moving average cross. So I'm going to copy these. Let's just copy the whole thing, and we'll take out what we don't need. BYBIT Fibo, and we're going to have moving average inputs. So we could go through these quickly. We're always going to use it, so we could take that out. We're not going to have different trade types. We're only going to have a moving average crossover. It's just really a confirmation of what's happening in the Fibo. So if we say if we're in a bull trend, then we go long. You know, if we're in a bear trend, we go short. So we've got our slow moving average period, the shift, the method, EMA, the applied price, the fast moving average shift, and then we're also going to take our time frame. Are we going to take our time frame? Yeah, let's take our time frame. We were going to run everything on one time frame. I mean, what you can do then is just set your number of bars to 500 or 1000 or whatever you want if you want it for longer periods. So it really doesn't matter what the time frame is. The high is still the high, and the low is still the low. No matter if you look at it, the 1 day chart, 2 day chart, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. And we've got our trading time. So those are our input parameters. Okay, now we are going to bold our entry conditions. So we're going to come back to our check exits. We're going to do our entry conditions first. So let's get the Fibo. I'm just going to copy it. It's a lot quicker than writing everything out all the time. I'll explain it once I've copied it. Here we go, check Fibo signal. And we could decide how we're going to use it. I think we start off simple at first, and then we could sort of like test it, see if we get anything decent. If we don't get anything decent, we could extend it a little bit. Okay, so check entries. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to create two booleans to say Fibo underscore buy equals, we'll set it to false, and another boolean called Fibo underscore sell, and we'll set that to false. And then we're going to have our Fibo So actually, before we start, let's just set up our, let's do it the same way we did the other one, the other EA. Let's just set up our entries and exits. Where's our MA signal? There's our MA signal. I'm just going to create the sort of the template for the entries. Check Fibo signal, and then we've got check MA signal. And then we're going to have another two more variables for the moving averages. We're going to have a, so I follow this sort of methodology for all of my EAs. I use the same sort of structure because what happens is, you like to use the same structure, but the thing is that you want to separate your code so it's more easily legible. It's also there's a coding principle called solid, and one of the first rules of the solid coding principle is the single responsibility. So every function must have one responsibility, and this function, the check entries, its responsibility is to check entries and enter a trade. So this function shouldn't be responsible for checking the Fibo entry or the MA entry. So it neatens up your codes, and it applies, and it conforms to coding standards. Okay, so then we're going to set our goodbye. Now our goodbye variable, I've explained these in the other videos, but essentially goodbye and good sell is so that if there's no open buy or open sell and goodbye is true, means that the confluences or the I don't know what the word for it is, the conditions to buy or sell, to buy has been met. And then we'll set that to goodbye. So goodbye equals Fibo buy. So if we return a buy signal from the Fibo function, and if we return a buy signal from the check MA function, then we buy. And then good sell, enter, is Fibo. So if Fibo sell is true and MA underscore sell is true. Start that up. There we go. Now what we need to do is we need to check Fibo signal, and we are going to pass two parameters into that. So we're not going to pass the symbol loop. Let me just take that out. This was an EA that could trade multiple currencies. We're just going to trade one currency. I'm going to take it out of the MA buy as well, and we'll fix that up later when we get to the actual buy and sell functions. Let's just see if there's any questions. No, please guys, feel free to ask questions. Okay, so we're going to pass in, let's just see what this function needs. We need to pass in Fibo underscore buy, and we need to pass in Fibo underscore sell. And this function will return Fibo buy or Fibo sell. I'll show you how that works in a second. And now we're going to check the MA signal, and we're going to pass in MA underscore buy and MA underscore sell. Okay, so that's it for our check entries function. So you can see, very neat, very clean. We check the Fibo signal, we get a response back from that. If it's either a buy or sell, we check the MA signal. If both conditions are met, we say buy, and then it buys. Okay, so let's build the Fibo. If there's anything here that you don't understand, I have covered it in other videos. You could go and check it out in the starter template video or my previous building a multi-strategy EA. I've talked about each of these functions in quite detail. Okay, so yeah, we just declare a variable for each of the Fibo levels. And then I don't know why we have this rates here. That is unnecessary. So what we're doing here is that we're getting a rates array. So basically we're getting an array of prices. And then we set the array as series, so it orders it in from the first price to the last price. So the current price to the price, however far you go back. So the current symbol, that's symbol, because we're going to do it for. And now what we do, we copy the rates. We get the rates and we copy it into the array. In the Fibo time frame, this will be period. So these two, what I've just said now is that copy rates for the current symbol and the current period that the chart is on. And then it says start at 0. I think we might start at 1. Does it actually matter? Not really. Doesn't really matter. So it's not that big problem. Wait, it actually does. No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, actually, we should start at 1. No, we should start at 0. Okay, we'll test that, see how that works. And then you pass in your how many bars. So if you want to go back 100 candles, 200 candles, 300 candles to define your support and resistance, that's what this does. And then you copying those rates into that rate array that you've just set over here. Okay, then you've got some variables to set the price, so the highest price and the lowest price. And then this just loops through those rates and it finds the highest price and the lowest price. That's all that really does. And then what we do is we take, we define the Fibo range, which is the price 1, which is the highest price, and we minus it from the lowest price. And then we work out, so price 1 is the highest, price 1 is the lowest, I think. Oh, sorry, yes, Fibo 100, so that's the 100. And then we work out each of the levels. So you don't need to worry too much about that. All we're doing is you could use this code, all we're doing is calculating what the Fibo levels are. And I said for starters, we're just going to keep it very simple. So what I'm going to do is, so all I'm going to do for now is that if it breaks above the 50 level Fibonacci, buy. If it breaks below the 50 level Fibonacci, sell. That's the starting point. And then we'll come back and maybe we'll just extend it a bit more, because this is a trend following strategy. It's a momentum strategy, so we're looking for strong momentum and for it to carry past the, see something here. I just want to get the syntax for close and open. Oh, we could use the rates. We could just use the rates, that's fine. Okay, so if the rates close, so basically if the candle before the current candle's close is greater than the Fibonacci 50, then buy, and then Fibonacci sell equals false. And if the rates is less than the Fibonacci 50, this is a strategy that I actually saw one of my friends introduce it to me quite some time back. He showed me some back tests and it looked pretty cool. So it's like, you're buying into the momentum. And if the rates is left, then we're going to say sell, buy, false, sell, true. We'll start with it simple and then we'll add to it if we need to. We just want to see how this one performs. Okay, so that's the Fibonacci entries. And what we need to do, we don't need that. We don't need a trend. We're just going to do this very simply. So if fast MA, I'm going to do this very simply. If fast MA is less than the slow MA, okay, let me go back to the beginning of this function. I didn't explain it properly. I'm just moving at lightning speed here. That's how I program. I go fast. Okay, so we check MA signal. We're passing in the MA buy and the MA sell, and this little ampersand here, and sign, means it's actually going to return that from this function as well. So when you say check, it will return the value of MA buy or MA sell. That's what this little and sign is here. Okay, then we declare two variables, MA buy, MA sell, and then we declare our fast moving average and our slow moving average. And then we instantiate the moving average object. Or now we're going to do this again. We're going to call this symbol. This is for the current symbol, the time frame. If you want to use the current time frame that the EA's, that the chart that it's loaded onto, you just say period. And then we've got the rest of it. We've got the fast moving average period. So it's the 1 day moving average, 2 day, 20 day moving average, 50 day moving average, etc. Shift we hardly ever use. The method, so that's exponential, simple, etc. And the applied price, you want to apply it to the close price, the open price, etc., etc. And then we do the same thing for the slow moving average. So I'm just going to change this to symbol of the chart, and we are going to say period. Cool. There we go. We've got to instantiate our moving averages. Then, so basically you've got your period for your MA price, essentially, for the price before the current candle. And then we just check, is the fast MA less than the slow MA? If yes, then we sell. If the fast MA is greater than the slow MA, then we buy. And those are our entries. Okay, so that's our entries. Now let's work on our exits. We're going to essentially do the same thing. We don't need to return anything. Control C. I'm going to just do our, I'm going to break my own rules here. I was carrying on about my rules, but let's check exits. Okay, so we're doing the exact same thing that we did in the previous one. We're declaring our levels, and we're just going to switch it around. So if the rates close is less than the 500, then we're going to exit our buy position. And that's what that does. And then it passes in, if buy exit, it closes the position, the buy position. And if it's greater than, then sell exit. Sell exit equals true. You know what actually I think we're going to do as well? I think it'll be cooler. We choose which exit strategy we're going to use, because you know the MAs might close over quicker than so let's actually choose, like I did in the previous video, we're going to say we're going to have exit strategies here. And then we could say, do we want to exit when it crosses back over down below the 50, or do we want to exit when the MA crosses back below the fast moving average or the slow moving average? So these are exit strategies. And then we're going to make a boolean. Fibo, just going to call this use underscore Fibo underscore exit. And we'll set that to true as default. I'll just change the name of this, use Fibo exit strategy. And then what I'm going to say is use MA exit. And then I'm just going to name this use MA exit strategy. Cool. So now I'm just going to wrap this code I did. Could actually start here. If IMP underscore use about exit, then run that code. Cool. We could also extend our exit strategy to say that if you're in a buy, let's keep it simple, and then we'll add on to it. And then we're going to now set up our MA exit strategy. So if that, set the styler. I hope I'm not going too fast and you guys are actually understanding what I'm doing. But, you know, like I said, once I'm done with this, I'll upload the code onto my store and it'll be available there. Imp use Fibo exit. Now we're going to use the MA exit. MA exit. We're going to copy the code from the check MA signal. Don't need that. We just need that. Use MA exit. Dialer. So we're just going to switch these around. Or what I'll just do is say if the fast is less than the slow, then we say buy exit equals true. Dialer, and fast is greater than the slow, sell exit equals true. Essentially what you're doing is the opposite of the buy entry. Styler, let's compile. Okay, there is some errors. Rates. Oh, I see. Okay, what we could just do is this then. Close one. The same thing. We don't need to use rates. Don't need to build an array for one. For one candle. Okay, we are ready. Let's go test it. How are we doing for time? 30 minutes. Completed the EA. Let's go test it. Okay, I'm just going to close the tester and reopen it because I think I might have file view strategy tester, and we're going to set some We're going to run it on the hour chart. I think let's try it on the hour chart first. We're not going to use data. We're not going to do visual mode for now. Expert properties. Okay, for starters, I'm going to set my risk at 1%, like I did for the previous video. I'm going to set my stop loss at 10%, and I'm going to set my take profit at 20%. Okay, we're going to optimize the moving average period. So we're going to start at, let's start that at 10. We'll go up in steps of 5, and we'll go to 300. We'll go exponential, we keep that right. Let's go fast moving average. We're going to start at 5 as well. Well, that's going to start at 5. We're going to have steps of 5, and we'll go this to 200. That's that optimization. And the number of bars, let's start at 10. Go up in steps of 10. And we'll go to, let's like go to 1,000 bars. And then we'll see which exit strategy works the best. Okay, let's optimize. Okay, we're going to change this to USDT. USDT. Was it UST? USDT, I think. And we're going to start with $200 because we wanted to try to test it with small accounts to see if this works nicely. Then we could start loading slowly. You know, we could just start putting a little bits of money in and start testing these EAs. And run optimization, and let's start. Let's see if we get some good results. Okay, margin exchange rate couldn't be counted. So I think this is UST then. Start. Yeah, UST. Get an array, index arrays. Array errors. I wonder why. Out of range. The cause of that. I'm getting some results, so I'm wondering if it's. Let me go back to the code. Where the error is. Could be in the exit because I see nothing used the exit. So let's just see what's happening here. Return. Let's run this from 1. The only place I'm using an index is this copy rates. It's the only index or array I'm using. Let's set this to 1. Let's set this to, I think it's got something to do with that. Okay, let's try it out again. I'm going to just compile. The only array that I'm using, so it could only be that. Setting. See if we're still getting the error. Still getting the error. 502.80. That refers to line 502 or lines 502. Let's go to lines 502. 02. Oh, okay. It's the drawing that's giving the issue. Let's just take out the drawing for now and we'll just see if that is causing it. Else I must just fix that. I mean, it's not necessary that you draw. I mean, you're letting it run. So, not extremely necessary that you draw the... Oh, still getting it. Maybe I need to reload the tester. 502, let's look at 82. 82 is nowhere. 502, it's this one. I don't know if it even refreshed, sorry. I don't know if it even refreshed it. Okay, let's just stop this. I'm going to just close down the terminal completely. Open it up again. Make sure the EA is refreshed. You don't want index out of range errors, that's not great. Properties. Let's run it again. Yeah, we don't seem to be getting those errors anymore. I think it's got something to do with the drawing, the lines. Alright, let's see if we're getting decent results. Oh, we could fix that function, but I mean, it's not really necessary that it draws the lines. I mean, you set and forget these things, so you're not going to sit there and watch it all day long. Let's see our profits. We need decent profits. Some decent profits with quite low drawdown, which is quite promising. Magic number. Okay, well, it's only 7 trades. Not that great. Not a lot of trades. Okay, let's just see, is it finished? Yep, looks like it's finished. So let's see. Okay, let's run this one. Let's just put it in visual mode and have a look. It's not using the exit strategy, so that's why it's not using any of the exit strategies, so that's why there's less trades. Okay, let's stop this and let's just go over review our code quickly. Well, that strategy is not using any of the exit strategies. Use Fibo exit, copy rates, number 1, buy exit, sell exit. Let's try reset. I mean, it's not bad results. You double your money in 7 trades. Let's try set one of the strategies to true by default. Let's take that off and let's set the exit strategy false. Let's set that to true and let's optimize again. We're just going to use the Fibo exit. Oh, we're also running at 1% risk, so we could increase the risk a little bit. So you can see there's more trades now because it's using the exit strategy. It's not just letting it run indefinitely. But it's still going. What I actually want to try to do as well is just run it with the Fibo and see how that works without the moving average. It might just work just with the Fibo. And then we could extend the Fibo to do more things. Oh, it's running so slowly. Normally runs so quickly. I think there's a lot of calculations. I think that array, set series array, is causing it to run very slowly. Anytime you're looping through prices or anything like that, it's going to take a lot longer to run. Okay. So we got a trade, yes. Let's actually have a look at this one. Let's just go into visual mode. Okay, so it's not the best result. So let's actually change it a bit. Let's just use the fibber, and then what we're going to do is we're going to change our exit strategies. Okay, so let's go back into the code. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just take out the moving average for now. So check entries, and we'll just set this to buy is true, sell is true, and we're going to comment out that. So we're not going to check the MA signal. So we're just going to check Fibber signal. And the exits I'm going to change slightly. The exits for the Fibber, we're going to use Fibber exit. We're going to set that to true. So if the close, so if we get in a buy and the close is greater than Fibber 618, buy exit. If we're in a sell and the close is less than the Fibber 236, because that's normally where it reverses at the Fibber 618, and then sell exits true. Let's try that. So I don't know if you have to refresh your expert advisor. Just open our toolbox, market navigator, refresh. Okay, and then we go to the properties. We don't need that anymore because we're not using the MA at all. Neither the Fibber bars. We're going to use the Fibber exit. Not going to use anything else. Let's see what optimizations we get with this one. Start. Not the same, but looks like it's drawdown was only $78. Let's see. Okay, so we make about 50% profit. Not bad. Let's see optimization results. There's 1,400 trades. Input parameters. Let's visual mode. Let's watch it. Not going to optimize. Go a bit faster. And so it's taking a lot of quick little scalp trades here. Obviously this is where the Fibber 50 is right now. Nice little scalper actually. Be that the 50 and the 60 is so close? Or is there an issue here? Let's have a look at the code again. So if the buy exit, the close is greater than the 618, then we get out. Yeah, that's right. If the sell, if you're in a sell, and it's less than 23. Yeah, that's right. Close is less than 23 Fibonacci. Correct. That is correct. Okay. Let's now, we're going to go back. I don't like this exit. This Fibonacci exit. It's not working too well. So I'm going to change it. Let's keep this at the 50. No, we're not going to use the Fibonacci exit. I'm going to put the MA back in. I'll fix that. Put the MA back in. MA signal. Check Fibonacci signal. Correct. And that is that. Check MA signal. If the fast is greater than the slow, may buy is true. Okay. And if that one is the close is bigger than the 50. Okay. So we've got that back in. I'm just going to compile that. And then I'm going to use the MA exit. Check Fibonacci signal. We're going to use the MA exit with it. But what you can see here, you've got a good base to basically do any sort of Fibonacci coding that you want. It's got all the levels. Okay, let's go back to our navigator. We're going to refresh that. And then we're going to go to our properties, and we are going to use the MA this time. And Fibonacci lines we could do, and we're going to not use the Fibonacci exit, use the MA exit. Let's see how that goes. Okay, we're going to do it on the H1 again. Optimization, do visual mode, coin, dot. Alrighty, let's see. Really more, better profit, more trades. Bar 70. Let's look at our optimization graph. Looking slightly better. Drawdown is alright, which is quite good. Okay, they are done. Let's have a look at our results. Let's just take any of these. We did that. We're going to optimize, we're going to run it. And let's look at our report. Our profit trades are 50%, our loss trades are 50%. Our profit trades are more than our loss trades. Let's run it again in visual mode, just have a visual of what it does. Another sell. Take profit. No, what I should actually do. Okay, so let's stop this. So that looks alright. Just go to this. Input parameters, and then what we're going to do, we're going to take off all these things and then optimize the stop loss and take profit. So our balance, we start at 1%, we go up in 1 and we're going to 5. Our stop loss, we're going to start at 5, we're going to go up in 5, and we're going to go to 100. And our take profit, we're going to start at 5, go up in 5, and we go to 100%. Okay, let's optimize for that. We're finished. It looks like it's closing before it even hits the stop loss or take profit. Doesn't really make a difference, the stop loss or take profit. So then what we do is we take off both exit strategies. And we optimize for that. See what the best stop loss, just with our simple Fibo. There we go, we're starting to get a little bit better results. Finished. Then, so we're not going to use the exit strategy, we're going to rely on our take profit and stop loss, because the exit strategies doesn't look like it's gelling well with this. So let's now re-optimize our periods. Okay, and we're just going to set both. Not going to have any exit strategies. We're just going to use stop loss and take profits. Exit probably. Let's go start. What we do? I mean, it's all about playing, really. 23 trades. That one. We might have to change this completely, this Fibonacci strategy, to use something else. There's not enough trades. Definitely is not enough trades. I mean, it's still making 100% with only a 17% drawdown. There's definitely not enough trades. Might have to change the whole strategy completely. Maybe we could do that in part 2. Because we are running quite late now. But you can see basically what happens in the life of an AlgoTrading developer. We test a very tight stop loss. Take profit. Running up again. Okay. Okay, so let's see now. Those input parameters were. Also, let's try the exit strategies. Do one more optimization and then we'll see. We'll see what we get. It's much, much better on the daily chart. I think that's generally the key for trading cryptos, and that is to run on the daily chart. I mean, I found when we were doing the other videos that daily chart seems to be giving the best results. Decent amount of trades. Really relative decent drop drawdown. See what the lowest drawdown is. $25. You're looking 350 days of bars. You're looking for basically a year. What's the yearly Fibonacci range? Okay. Let's run this last one. And then we'll call it a day. I mean, it takes a trade every day, it looks like, but it's a small trade. I mean, these small little profits, they add up. Much better. Oh, so we got a decent EA at the end of that. Let's just look at one more thing. Let's try and see what the problem is with the drawing of the lines. Where did we go wrong here? Let's get double. Alt ID. Property modifier. Okay, so that can stay at 0. You see my draw function. It was, yeah. So that should work. Yes, this, if we're starting at 1, this should be 99. That could be the issue, yeah. Number of fibber bars minus 1. Okay. If that fix that, we still get that issue. Okay, well, it's not drawing the fibber. I get index out of range, but it's not drawing the fib. Oh, I commented it out. Stop that. Put it. See if it's still getting that index out of range. It's definitely got something to do with that. There we go. And you see if it goes, well, it's still in a trade. See what's happening here. That it does it every time it's above the 50. Every time it's below the 50. So having these lines helps a lot. You actually just want it when it's if it's above 50, below 68. What's happening? What's happened?